Yeti.
Welcome to the If We Had the Pencil podcast, Great Outdoors Edition. I'm your host, Sean Green, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Matt Jackson.
Surprise, surprise.
And
live and in technicolor.
As you can tell, this is a fun one for us because we're actually in the same place at the same time. And like I said, it's the Great Outdoors, so you got a floodlight out here. It's dark out. We're all getting eaten by mosquitoes. We've bathed ourselves in Deep Woods Off. And then to add to the fun, we had a lot of technical issues this week, so only an hour or 5 of a 2-hour podcast got recorded. So this is what we're going to do, folks. We're going to sit here. We're going to go through and finish recapping what we were talking about. So our previous video ended just kind of talking about Gunther. Now we're going to get into the rest of Raw. Then Matt and I are just going to talk a little bit because something big happened on Smackdown last night.
Good God.
So I know you guys are all going to laugh at the light quality right now. My bad. Well, we're outside. So, but yeah.
And if I want to make another drink, I'm going to get up and get another drink, and Sean's going to expound on something, and it's going to be vice versa. So this is going to be a different podcast.
This is a totally different podcast. So, full disclaimer up front, folks. As I stated, we're in the outdoors. We're having a good time. There's alcohol involved. There's cigarettes involved. So, if you're offended by those, I apologize. Please watch our next episode. We usually try to keep things pretty clean, but we're having fun right now, so we're going to do this. So, Matt, you want to get into where we were talking? So
what we're going to do is we're going to publish our last podcast ended with the Gunther and Goldberg story, and then we had some audio issues. So we're going to upload that. We're going to pull shorts from that, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to use this podcast to take off from where we left off, cover SmackDown, so we'll post that. So those of you who want to listen to what our recap is, you're going to get the whole thing. And you're going to get a little bonus tonight with covering a SmackDown.
Yeah, a little bit of SmackDown. We're not going to do the whole thing. We'll save that for next week's. But, all right. So, as we stated, we kind of dropped off after the whole Gunther thing. Long story short, if you're not tracking, you should already be tracking. Gunther Goldberg is going to happen. Yay. We all kind of knew this was in the works. They did a good job tying back to some stuff that happened months ago in Atlanta. So, good on them. So, yay. All right. So we're going to move forward with that. So after that, we got AJ Styles and JD McDonough. And one of the big things I wanted to hit on this was JD McDonough is really, really, really good. And like, Matt, I'll tell you, I don't think that dude has a bad match.
No, he doesn't. And like, so again, I was in Maine watching the show. I watched it Tuesday night, like I stated, and I was like sitting there watching it. I'm like, oh, they're working snug. And my dad's like, what's snug? My dad used to watch wrestling with me back in the 80s. I'm like mid 80s to late 80s, so it's been a long time. So for those of you, all you smart, intelligent wrestling fans, as the Iron Sheik would say, snug is when they're like making contact, but they're not hurting each other. We all know what stiff is. Stiff is when they're really laying them in. And then, light or easy is when, we get some space. What I like about that match, Sean, is like they were snug. That means they trusted each other. There was a level of trust, which enhances the match. Because if you don't have that level of trust with the person that you're working with, that you're telling that story, that you're painting that picture for the fans, if you don't trust them, it's not going to be as good. So that's why, like, it looked good. Everything landed. Great match by both. Like, AJ, like, what's he, his late 40s? He's getting up there.
Pushing 50.
Yeah, so, like, AJ looks, physically looks incredible. Like, the best he's ever looked. And then JD, like, what a pairing those two are. I would like to see them again down the line, and I'm sure we were, but we got gifted a good one.
Oh, our production assistant just pointed out that AJ is 48. So,
all right.
Yep, we got the whole team. We were having a whole team meeting.
Yeah, we actually did. We had, before this, we actually had like our first ever like team meeting together. Of course, over drinks and excellent beef brisket that Sean made today.
Like I said, we're just loving the great outdoors. So, all right, so good match. One of the other big takeaways from that match is AJ Styles is really, really getting that Styles Clash in really super quick. So
awesome Styles Clash.
He the last 2 weeks now, he has transitioned into the Styles Clash super quick. It's not this slow wrap, get the arms behind the legs thing. He's just boom, got it. So like, I'd like to see more of that. He's working it in there. He's doing great stuff. So, like, again, it was a fun match, and props to JD McDonough, man. I just never see that dude have a bad match, regardless of his ginormous cranium and whatnot.
No, Oh, solid stuff. So really good. And what I liked is there was no like outside interference. It was two guys going one-on-one. Best man wins. So great match. A lot of fun.
So after that, there was a backstage segment. Matt spotted this more than I did. Apparently, outside of the Grayson Waller, Austin Theory, bickering bitch fest that they're going to eventually break up, will they, won't they, whatever the hell that is. We had Xavier Woods out back, dress up like as a bona fide pimp. And in tribute to that, today, prior to doing this podcast, we actually watched a South Park episode called Butter's Bottom Bitch. And if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend that episode. It'll tell you everything you need to know about pimping. But Xavier Woods was pulling it off, so.
And actually, Butters is my favorite South Park character. Always has been. That's me.
If you know what I am saying.
Everyone knows it's Butters. That's me.
So it was good time. So after that, so Bailey comes out, starts whining, crying about Becky and everything else. Look, there's good points being made between Bailey and Becky throughout all this, and it's fine. But yeah, we knew this was going to happen. This is no dig on Lyra Valkyria or any of them. Like, we knew this was coming because this elevates the Intercontinental Championship. There's a rivalry there. There's something happening there. It's important. And you got two of the biggest superstars, two of the four horsewomen, if you're into that were... It's cool. They're all talented. They only got 3 out of the 4. But, you got them out there right now, and that IC title is going to get huge. And hopefully they continue to use the IC title like they used to use it back in the day, like setting up the next talent that's going to be into the next echelon. And hopefully that speaks well for Lyra Valkyria as well.
So Bailey had a great promo, but, you and I were talking on the phone, and we actually talked about it in the podcast that was the part that was messed up. But there was a part about that promo that she did that, even though you liked the whole promo, at the beginning, what was she trying to do with the crowd?
Oh, she was chasing the hug, and it pissed me off.
Chasing the hug.
She chased the hug hard. And it was just like, we get it. You're over. You're cool. You're Bailey. But you don't have to chase it. Like,
but the
just let it
promo
happen.
would have got her the hug. That's the thing. The promo was so good. Like, she didn't need the hug because the promo would have delivered on the hug. The promo was so good. So
it was good. And, she didn't have to chase the hug. But she felt the need to chase it early on. I hope she doesn't continue to do that. But, yeah.
By the way, this is not my cup. I'm borrowing this.
Not.
This is Sean's wife's Katie's cup, but...
No, that's his daughter.
It's Michelle's cup, our
social media coordinator.
There you go. That's the title. But it does contain some Tito's and some cranberry juice, and it's delicious. Just want to leave it at that.
Yes. As you can tell, we're at the camper. So being at the camper, we have camper cups. If you own a camper, you know what I'm talking about. So
this is the most real podcast, like wrestling podcast on like YouTube. This has to be the most like real, organic. Like, we don't give a shit. Like, we don't need a studio. It's just, hey, we're just two dudes, two old vets that just love WWE and love talking about it. And thank you for those who do watch. We appreciate that, and we appreciate your comments.
We definitely do. And we encourage you to engage with us, especially when we start talking storylines, especially when we start talking about stuff where we're looking ahead into the future. Like, a lot of the stuff now is starting to become clearer. The rivalries are becoming clear. We'll talk about a big one that became really clear, like, here shortly. But, like, there's been a lot of, really good stuff going on. But we want those comments. We're trying to build the storylines for you. We want to hear what you think, how you think it should go. All right? So, definitely. And then, all right, so Raw ends. Get Jey Uso defeating Sheamus, Bronson Reed, Rusev, and he goes to the semifinals. Matt and I watched Smackdown together yesterday, and, one of the cool things that we picked up on, and I don't know, I'm sure others have as well, there are 4 faces in the semifinals for King of the Ring. All 4 semifinalists are all faces, in theory. Well, you have 3 in a glamour, but we won't talk about Sami Zayn right now. But you have 4 faces all squaring off. So you got Cody J, because Jay won his, and then you have Sami Zayn and Randy Orton. So it really makes for an interesting dynamic. Spoiler alert, Randy won. But still in all. But it makes for an interesting setup, because now what happens on Raw, right? Like, who's going to Riyadh? So are they going to go with Cody and have Cody Randy? Are they going to go with Jay and have Jay Randy? We'll make a prediction this week once everything's solidified. But
well, who do you think?
If you ask me right now today, I think
who do you want? Do you want Orton and Cena, or do you want Orton and Jay? What is the match that makes the most money? What's the match that brings the storyline forward the most?
Yeah.
And then what sets up for the best match for SummerSlam in New York?
So here's the reality. This is what I really think is going to... There's two ways you can approach this. The way you approach it, one way is you do Cody Randy. You're not going to get a bigger match than that. They have history. I think he could use that to launch a Cody Randy rivalry, which we've all been waiting for. You definitely could go that route. There's a moneymaker there. The one big thing, and this is always where it gets complicated with international audiences. Do you go with Jay just so you get all the hype that comes with Jay? I told Matt yesterday, I said, I think Jay's intro is probably top 10 of all time. He's in the top 10. He has to be in the top 10. Agreed. The amount of fan engagement that Jay Uso gets when he comes to the ring, and then he's doing the grassroots thing. Just like when Cody was handing out weight belts. Now you got Jay yeeting in the crowd with all the little kids.
Picking out kids ahead of time. So, that's a big thing.
There's
always a kid every time. So he's connecting with families. He's like, I want my kid to look up to this guy.
Yep. And that's how you sell merch.
He's a good dude. Yep. That's how you sell merch. And then that's also how it creates a dilemma with him fighting Cody.
Yep. And I think the easiest way out of this, I think if I had the pencil, I think I still exasperate that Jay still has some lingering injuries. Look, Jay losing the title, it still kept him strong, right? They just overworked him, and that's how he ended up losing to Gunther, which is fine because Gunther won, so they could set up Gunther Goldberg, which is more compelling. You're going to have two bigger dudes, meaty men slapping meat when they go at it. So
I think you have Cody go over, and then you have Jay take 2 or 3 weeks off of TV, kind of reset himself. You can sell it he had a 51-day title reign, but he really did a lot in that 51 days.
He was a busy beaver.
It's not unrealistic for the story to say that him taking a break is not necessary, because it was intense. The level of what he had to go through in those 51 days was intense. So I think you have Cody go over, Jay disappear for 2 or 3 weeks, comes back with a fresh storyline, probably with the Seth Rollins faction. That looks like where it's all going to. But, you give Cody the bump, and then now you got that Cody-Orton match for the King of the Ring, and that's a big money match. Cody Jay for, regular TV, for Monday Night Raw and Netflix, that's a big match. That's a PLE match. But, not as big as Cody and Orton. Cody and Orton is a WrestleMania-level match. And you're going to get it.
And it's going to be the main event in Riyadh.
That's a dream match.
I know it is, and I just hope they don't blow their load too early. And really...
I like it because it's different.
It's Randy, honestly, and we kind of talked about this yesterday too. If it's Randy, Cody, I need Randy to somehow go over. So one of the cool things... Yeah, we're going to talk Smackdown. We just watched it, so it's fresh. So one of the cool things that Randy was doing last night, you had Randy Sammy in their match. One of the coolest things that I picked up on last night was Randy is obviously a face right now. The crowd loves him. He likes being a face right now. But because he's Randy Orton, he can get away with heelish crap. And he was doing heelish crap last night, and everybody's just like, yay, do it again. Thanks, Randy.
Poke and all that stuff.
All of it.
You know what? Roddy Piper did the same thing. When he became a face, he still did the eye poke and the dirty moves. But the fans loved it because he did it for a reason that was good. He was doing it to the guy that we all hate. So Randy gets a lot of levity with the fans.
Yeah, he definitely does, and he's earned it. So, like we said, folks, it's probably Randy Cody. I hope Randy goes over somehow, keeps Cody strong. But I'd rather see Randy Cena in the SummerSlam match than I would Cody. Because I feel like if you go Cody Cena, you're really setting yourself up for... First off, if I see Travis Scott again, I'm going to puke. I don't need the slow plotting, whatever the hell that is.
Joint smoking.
Yeah, I don't need that. If Dwayne decides to show up, then...
And it's SummerSlam is too soon for Cody to get his...
That's my point.
It's got to drag out, folks.
He's got to...
SummerSlam.
We talked about it with Charlotte Flair, right? Charlotte Flair has to go through the hard way right now, because the perception of Charlotte Flair is she's always given everything. So right now, we need Charlotte to do things the hard way. We need Cody to do things the hard way too. He let him get to the end of the King of the Ring. He's already got accolades.
His dad did it for 20 years and made tons of money off it and some of the best storylines. So it makes sense for Cody to follow in his father's footsteps and do it the hard way. Because if you do it the easy way, the payoff's not as big. The moment is not as big. But if you do it the hard way, it becomes more organic. It's a bigger moment.
It really comes down to when you're
Cody is that
Cena.
guy that has to have it the hard way. Cody's always going to be the guy that nothing comes easy to.
Nah. All right. So that's kind of our recap of what Raw and where we got dropped off on. There was tons of gold there. I don't know if it made the video, but Matt and I have been on a kick lately. So in honor of the Slim Jim Tables of Excellence that are now populating all WWE, we figured since they like to stick logos on everything and sponsor everything, other stuff needs sponsoring, such as Matt used the Harbor Freight Steel Stairs of Excellence. So, yeah, that's probably coming soon.
The Office Depot folding chair. Came up with the Lumber 84 announcers table.
84 Lumber announcers
the
table.
U.S. Steel Post. Like, hey, U.S. Steel. So, we're going to start renaming everything. Like, I don't know what the bell should be.
I don't know.
We'll come up with something for the bell.
Firehouse 57 bell.
And why no, anyway.
Oh my
But you know what I
God.
loved about SmackDown? And I pointed out to Sean, it was about 30 minutes in, and I said, "Hey, look at the canvas.
Yeah.
Look at the canvas.
Big WWE logo, nothing
on
else.
a blue canvas." So like I am kind of one of those guys that gets really, what do you call it when you like look at the past and you feel nostalgic, right? So when I see just the blue canvas with WWE logo, it's a nostalgic feel. Like it just feels good. It's like, like in the wintertime, like when you want comfort food, you have like macaroni and cheese and pizza. It's just like that warm, like it feels good just to see that. Because that's what we grew up on, was just like the ring didn't have all that. It was a basic ring. So I like it when they kind of go bare bones for SmackDown with the W logo. But we beat this up every week, but I guess it's just a regular thing from us.
So I have often said that I don't mind them putting sponsorships around the ring, like on the edges. I'm fine with that. Even, all of that. I'm really happy with that. It's just, what we need is, we need it to be under control and we need our logo, right? Sorry, getting notifications. Well,
at that point, I'm going to let Sean expound on what he's talking about with brand, and I'm going to make myself another cocktail, because this is not your usual podcast.
No, it is not. Hammer all on. All right, so we just did a impromptu on the spot change. So we are going to talk about SmackDown since we're hitting on major issues with SmackDown. So one of the big things like he was talking about right now that I've been saying for quite a while, the branding thing, right? You're allowed to brand. You're allowed to have a brand. You're allowed to get your brand out there. The biggest problem is sponsorship is going a little nutso. Pretty soon, I've said it before, I'll say it again, wrestlers are going to start coming out looking like NASCAR drivers, right? Like, yeah, it was a great win. I just want to, thank all the folks at the Home Depot, DuPont, whatever, for supporting me in this great match or whatever. You're going to end up with that crap, and it's going to suck. That's where we're going. We joke about it because it's getting ridiculous. But, yeah. So, as Matt stated, this is not your typical podcast. Obviously, we're doing stuff a little different. So, what we are going to do, we are going to go into SmackDown. Matt doesn't know this yet, so as soon as he comes back from a refill, we will see what's up. And speaking of what's up, we'll talk about our truth today as well. Here comes the man of the hour right now.
Surprise.
I'm back, huh?
Surprise.
Surprise what?
Sean's got...
Hopefully, this doesn't screw up all our audio.
Oh, sorry.
And this is what you get when you put two guys in a campground for a weekend. So, we decided that we're going to go ahead. We're going to go through SmackDown since we're talking about half the matches. So, SmackDown opens up. LA Knight comes out. Nice pop, by the way, when he came out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, eventually, him and Heyman trade words. By the way, Heyman is a genius and wonderful, and he should always be loved and respected. Everything that guy does, he turns to gold. Like, do not underestimate Paul Heyman at all, because holy crap, he was doing a masterclass on Friday night.
It's not even what he says, it's like his facial expressions.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, like it's like we were marking out folks at Paul Heyman. I mean, we're Paul Heyman guys, so yeah, great stuff. Love you, Paul.
Yeah, and there's a follow-on segment later. Paul's in the back with Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed, and it turns out like, hey, you got a match now, and Paul just goes, see? This is why we do what we do. There's always a plan, and he always has a plan. So LA Knight ended up getting an equalizer in that opening segment. He got a chair. It was cool. All right, so then we get the semifinals match, and we get Asuka and we get Alexa Bliss. We went into this, like, him and I were looking at each other like, I don't know who's going to win on this one. Because it was like, I can make an argument for both. Matt brought up that, like, Bliss has been back a little bit longer than Asuka, so do you rush Asuka in? It's going to end up being Asuka and Jade, in my opinion. But, like, Asuka did fine. Alexa looks great. Everything went well. Really nothing significant to report there. It all went pretty well.
It was a lot of fun. We enjoyed that. It was
a good match.
Action. And Alexa Bliss, man, she looks great. This run, like, since she's come back, everything looks so good on her. And of course, Asuka. And I love the bits when they're playing with the announcers table, like when they say, like, you can't stop Asuka or whatever it says. Like, she's telling it to Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett. So women kicked ass last night. For
They
sure.
definitely did.
Yeah, great.
And
a lot of fun.
We also got to keep in mind, though, women are getting featured. They want to push them over. Evolution is coming up.
They should be.
So that's going to keep on happening. Next, Ron Killings comes out, and he chokes out one of the dudes from Pretty Deadly. I didn't know it. By the way, I got a mosquito in the ear just now. Everybody talked him down. So let's talk about Ron Killings for a second, because
we've talked about this all day today.
I just got sprayed in the eye by Off.
I'm sorry, I thought I was behind you. No.
Folks, this part of our program is sponsored by Off.
So sorry.
Hey, kids,
Keep Woods off.
don't shoot it in your brother's eye, okay?
Yeah.
Sorry,
All right. So we've been talking about this all day, right? So one of the things Matt doesn't fully understand is why they keep on referring to him as R-Truth. There's always this different dynamic between R-Truth and Ron Killings. And what are your thoughts on this, Matt? Like, sure. Okay.
I want them to make a decision.
There is no decision.
Right.
So, I'm about to spell it out.
Is it Ron? And we talked about this. Like, in this segment, he, like, beats up this guy and, like, incapacitates him from competing in his match. So I'm like, is this the Ron Killings we're going to get? So are we getting Ron the Truth Killings? Are we getting R-Truth? Are we getting Ron Killings? Like, what are we getting? That's the important thing. Like, what exactly are we getting? And still have to watch the Smackdown. I still don't know.
So, here's great news. Anybody that listens to Busted Open knows Bully Ray oftentimes points out how storylines are very closely parodied with Star Wars stories, right? Well, I'm about to go totally different nerd on you as to explain Ron the Truth Killings dynamic. He is Gollum from Lord of the Rings, all right? Gollum is two people. He's Gollum, he's Smeagol. He was originally Smeagol, then he became Gollum. All right, Gollum is a nasty little puss bag that'll betray you in a heartbeat. And Smeagol is, the original character. He's a little more mellow tone. So the whole point about this is that Smeagol and Gollum are the same person, but different parts of that personality pop up. That is what we're seeing with R-Truth right now. Certain different parts of his personality, and there's an internal fight between those two. When he came out and he choked out the dude from freaking Pretty Deadly, that was Ron Killings. When they kind of woosawed and whoever the bearded dude was, like, talked him off the ledge, he kind of backed off and, like, he became R-Truth. So you're going to see this internal fight with him. He's basically a person with dual personalities. And Ron Killings is very aggressive and in charge now. And then there is still a place for R-Truth. R-Truth is still going to pop up. Ron Killings is the wrestler. So, thoughts?
Wow. No, really. I really like that. So
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. We talked about it earlier. It does make sense because we kind of talk about the duality of R-Truth, Ron Killings and R-Truth. So you're going to see a little bit R-Truth
You
began.
can't stop being who you are.
Exactly.
That's the whole point.
Really, honestly, I think that part of Ron Killings, the man, I'm not talking about the sports entertainer or the professional wrestler. I think Ron Killings, the dad, the husband, the just the dude. I think R-Truth is part of that guy. Like that's just part of him. Because how can you play off a character that good unless it's not just part of you? So there's that goofy, silly part of Ron Killings, the dad, the husband, the dude that just like it just flows into that character as a wrestler. So
keep in mind, like in Lord of the Rings, Smeagol becomes Gollum to protect Gollum or protect
not seen Lord of the
Smeagol.
Rings in a long. By the way, Sean's wife Katie is behind me, so
Watch,
I'm
watch.
sharing some dialogue with Katie. So
Look.
you're getting a bonus here. You can't see her, but she's part of it. So.
She's John Cena right now.
Yeah, you can't see her.
Before he went.
So yeah, I know I'm going all alpha nerd on this whole Gollum.
No, but it
Smeagol
does
things,
make
but
sense. It's a good
was-
analogy, Sean.
You got to keep in mind over time. You got to keep
It
in
makes
mind
me want to watch Lord of the Rings after I haven't seen it.
extended cuts.
No.
Extended cuts.
You're killing me, dude.
Listen, everybody's got
It's
everybody's
like
got about
watching-
like 13 hours to set aside to watch the
Like who
extended
here
cuts
has watched
of
like
Lord of
the
Rings.
extended director's cut of Apocalypse Now? This guy, 3.5 hours. Oh my God, still great, but it's like when you're done, you're like
But you get
exhausted.
so much more context
do.
in the extended cuts of Lord of the Rings. Anyways, we're talking wrestling, so we're going to move on.
The horror.
All right.
The horror. The
So
horror.
you get all 4 semifinalists in the ring at the same time. And one interesting note, Cody Rhodes said 0 words during this whole segment.
I didn't realize it till Sean texted me like the
said
next
nothing.
day, and because so we were texting like this morning, and he's like, "Do you realize Cody said no words during that promo?" I'm like,
Nope.
No. And I went back and watched it. I'm like, "Oh shit!" Cody said 0 words
0
during that
words.
promo. Like, okay, Cody, like high five, dude, or something. Like, if you can cut a promo without saying a single word and get over.
Well,
Like-
he whispered something at some point, but...
We didn't hear it, so it's 0 words.
All right, so I have... Matt found this out today, and I'm going to say it again. I have shifted on Sami Zayn. I think it was during the Bloodline storyline where somebody pointed out that all he does is glom on to major people. Guess what? Karrion Kross is right. Everybody's right. Sami Zayn is driving me effing nuts because it's all me. I'm going to hook onto everything. And, like, I need a whole character shift. He's a glommer. That's
He
what
is.
he does. He just gloms onto
He's like sitting there like, oh, here he comes. And what do we end up like? We called him what, the Tick? Because he sucks blood. He's a leech. And let me
I had
tell
a
you,
lot
I
of
like
words.
Sami Zayn. Like he's entertaining, but like
I had a lot
the
of
more we
words.
talked about it, like yeah, he's a leech. He's a freaking tick. Like he just leeches onto people.
Yep.
That he's a tick. He sucks the blood of people. Like yeah.
And the worst part
And so
about it,
here's the thing. I did a little bit of reading on the internet today. And what I was telling you last night, I'm like, Sammy's turning heel, and you're like, yeah, I don't know. Sammy's turning heel, my friend.
he can turn heel.
He is
but
gonna
you know
turn-
what? That ship
and-
sailed.
and he's
if
gonna-
he
he's
was going
gonna
to
do
turn
a-
heel, if he was going to turn heel, he should have turned heel when Seth Rollins gave him the out.
All right, last night, when he's talking to Jey Uso, and he said to Jey Uso, like, hey, you know, I didn't have a spot in WrestleMania. I didn't have a match, but I was there because I wanted to, like, celebrate you.
Yeah.
And he did the same thing about Cody.
I
So
was there when
Sami
you completed
Zayn
your
is
story.
making it all about himself, and that's where the heel turn is. It's going to become a self-centered, like,
That's fine, but it doesn't. They wasted an entire opportunity then. Sammy should have flipped when Seth gave him the offer. Story.
I agree,
Instead,
but I'm
what
just
did we
saying
get?
that-
Same underdog Sammy. He's going to try to overcome.
he's going to be a heel,
Like-
but it's not going to have the same effect as if he would
No,
have done
he
what
should
you
have taken
thought.
the deal.
He should have taken the deal.
He should have
now
taken the deal.
Now he's a second-rate, like, he's kind of a wussy heel.
Exactly.
Like-
He's a wishy-washy.
Yeah.
Whatever.
He's like his
Because,
horse shit heel. Like, who cares?
yeah, and he's eliminated, so that's great news. But we'll get to that because, like I said, we're going through Smackdown now. But yeah, I have a
think
lot of
horse shit is
issues
a great
with. I have issues with
Yeah.
Sami Zayn big time right now. His character needs a total revamp. It's just not working for me. But yeah, whoever said he was a glamour yeah, he is a glamour.
He is good.
All right. So then after that, we actually get the Randy Orton Sami Zayn match. It was a good match, and we kind of touched about this earlier. I like Randy doing heely things because he's Randy. Because when we watch Randy, we just go, when's he going to become the Viper again? And he's going to turn on somebody.
Outfits.
Focus.
Outfits. I don't know. I'm going to tell you right now, Randy Orton is a fucking beast.
I love him.
Man,
Oh.
that dude is jacked, but like can move. He didn't
so-
lose any of the quickness. Like even when he was younger, he did that snap, like power slam. He still has that like
that whole match. He was just methodical, and it was brilliant. Like it wasn't an uptick pace; it was just a deliberate pace. The whole match, he was just like he would get some shots from Sammy. He'd just be like, "All right, I'm gonna go over here, collect myself, gonna move on up." Oh, that was a masterclass in pacing of a match.
And then you and I had a sidebar conversation because I mentioned Orton Gunther. Like, you want to talk about a dream match? That's two guys that'll just slap the shit
that
out
ain't
of each other.
happening. He already called out Cena.
I know he called out Cena, but like what I tell you last night, Sean, like, man, what if Orton and Gunther? But man, Orton has just been awesome. Like, awesome in that match. And then another thing we talked about was Sammy. Sammy and his selling. If you notice with Sammy, I don't know if it's because of his skin, colorization or not, but every time that dude wrestles, he's marked up.
Oh, the
Like
turnbuckle whip with something.
turnbuckle or the ring burn. Like he's always marked up. So like they were doing some clotheslines and stuff, and I'm like, I told Sean, I'm like, look at the back bump. Like the way Sammy sells it, he like throws himself back and like hits like hard. Like selling is so important, and like Sammy does a good job. And the balance is the good job of selling without overselling. Because if you oversell, the move looks weak. If you sell properly, it makes the move look legit and strong. And Sammy was doing that with Orton's clotheslines and the moves he was putting on him. So there was so much like give and take in that match. It was really, really good. But honestly, I'm telling you, Sean, Sammy's turning heel. He's going.
You know what he's not doing? He's not in the finals for King of the Ring.
Nope.
He is not. And I'm happy for that because that would have made things awkward. Because if he would have been in the finals, I think they might have put him over. And who the hell wants to see him and John Cena? Not me. Like Sammy. And to your point, Sammy takes some great bumps. Like him and Kevin Owens, there's a reason why they have always had great matches. Both those guys take some of the most incredible bumps that you will ever see. And I'll give Sammy his props, man. He came a long way. I know I've said this exact moment. Losing in a mousetrap to Johnny Knoxville to, like, main eventing tag team match in WrestleMania. Like, that's impressive.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
The character is annoying me now. I just can't handle the...
But that's okay.
I can't handle
because it gives
like...
us a story.
Of
that's
what?
okay.
The whiny, like, Sami Zayn?
Sure.
Like, I'm tired of it. All right, so we'll move on.
But you know what? We're going to talk about it. And we're going to talk about it week after week because Sammy's going to be in a focal point of the picture. So
he'll be a focal point of the picture, but he ain't going nowhere because guess what? He lost.
Yeah.
Now it's between Orton and the winner of Jay and Cody. So
I can't wait for Raw. So I will not watch Raw live because I'll be traveling back to beautiful Western Florida. But I'll catch it on Tuesday, and we'll talk about it next week.
Yep, for sure. And then, all right, after that, we get a Nia Jax promo. But there was some interaction with Naomi. There's some interaction with... it's all tied around Tiffany Stratton. Look, this thing didn't really move the needle for me. Charlotte Flair ends up having a match.
I do like Naomi's owning this heel.
Oh,
at the very least, we should talk about, like, how good Naomi has done at transforming her character from this like goody face with the bright colors to this darker heel, like the facial expressions she makes, like the anger. Like Naomi's killing it, man. Like,
she is.
And like I told you, like on the podcast last week, I'm like I had my doubts about her being able to be a complete heel. Dude, I am totally like bought in.
Transition quick.
Yeah.
She made the transition quick, and that's the big thing, right? she made the transition quick, and that's why it is very awesome. So obviously there's something between Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. None of us know what it is. We will figure it out over time. This is a slow burn thing, but
I'm intrigued.
you know, hey, when Piper Niven dropped that freaking senton on Charlotte, I'm not gonna lie, they got me. They got me.
Yeah. I really thought
she went. You know, normally when somebody drops a senton into somebody that's bridged like Charlotte Flair was, they'll go to like a knee injury or something like that. She went for the back of her ankle, and like I was like, shit, did she just blow an Achilles?
They always sell the knee.
Yeah, it's always the
knee.
knee. You know, and I was like, crap, did she just blow her Achilles? And I was like, hopefully not. So she didn't. You know, they got me. I admit it. I have to admit it when they get me. And then the Alexa Bliss thing, so we'll see where it goes. There's not enough information yet to expand on
the match until the Alexa Bliss came out for the interference, like, there was some good back and forth between her and Chelsea Green, because you thought it was going to be, like, really short and quick, and I'm like, they got to make it run through a segment. Like, they got to give it some air. So, I want to say about Chelsea Green, like, the way Sean brought up a great point. He said it's not Chelsea Green, it's the opponents she's had. Because if you look at her against Charlotte Flair last night, she was in step. She was matching move for move for Charlotte Flair. It was seamless. It was smooth. So, like, and I said, Sean, I'm like, who's she been working with lately?
Michin. What did we talk about? It was
Vega.
Michin,
and Vega's been a botch fest for the last month. So, like, I'm not going to pull back if I don't like stuff. I don't like Selena Vega is the U.S. champion. I think she's sloppy. I don't think she just doesn't fit the championship bill. So
I thought she did. I think they whiffed pretty hard when they had her lose in Puerto Rico. Like, they could have nailed that. She was not. If she was the hottest she was a lot cleaner in the ring. So like
what's going on the last month or so with her?
I don't
know.
It's
been awful. And honestly, Sean will tell you, I keep texting her like, they need to pull the belt off her. Like, she can't be champion.
All in due time.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the reality is, folks, like, coming out of this match, it was eye-opening because I was really curious to see how Chelsea Green was going to work with Charlotte. And Matt was saying it, too. He was like, yeah, I really want to see how this plays out. We all know Chelsea Green.
I was very intrigued to see how Chelsea could build up to a match of that importance. Because, I mean, we're talking about people up to shit on Charlotte Flair, but, I mean, she's one of the all-time greats. She's a first ballot Hall of Famer. And it's not because she rides daddy's coattails. She's just that damn good. And so for people to, like, shit on Charlotte Flair, you know what? Shame on you. So this is a great opportunity for Chelsea Green to show what she can bring. And I tell you what, I think she passed the litmus test.
She definitely did.
She held her own.
And the storytelling at the end of the match was actually pretty good. It set up the whole Alexa Charlotte thing. Like, the whole match was good. And it was a good showcase for Chelsea Green as well, because, as you know, there's 3 people on this show that we always put up top and put over. It's Paul Heyman, Chelsea Green. I just blanked out.
R-Truth.
R-Truth. Well, I'm confused about him right now. So
it's the alcohol.
And this is why you don't drink in podcasts. So
no, this is why you should absolutely drink during podcasts, because it's so much more fun.
Well, you say that now, and then I'm going to talk about something really depressing.
Then we'll watch this sober in the morning and be like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, these shorts are going to be brutal. You're going to get eviscerated. Anyways, so we get probably, I have never seen a segment be more cringe and cool at the same time, and that is Solo Sikoa and, like, Jacob Fatu.
I think we should break this down, like, piece by piece, because, like you said, it was cringe then cool. And what was the cringe?
It was all of Solo shit. Like, I was just like, okay, Jacob, I love you. Like, bro. Like,
yeah, we're both sitting here like, I have a commercial, and they're going to have 17 sponsors of the sponsor of the commercial.
All right. Have you ever watched Chappelle Show?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember the Wrap It Up box? Like, so one of the segments on Chappelle Show was the Wrap It Up box, where, like,
I love it when he does this, by the way.
They had like this box. You know how, like, in Hollywood they want him to get off the stage, so they just play like clapping and stuff to shoo people off the stage. Last night with the solo thing, I needed a wrap it up box, like where they started plotting like, okay, playoff music, let's go. Like it was getting ridiculous. Thankfully, it ended. Fatu, who's great on the mic, by the way.
I was impressed last night. I told you, like I did. What did I tell you last night? Like I didn't know he was that good.
Yeah, he's
like
really
he
good.
really surprised me. Like he got his stuff over. He spoke clear. He was concise. And he got to the point. We understood what he was talking about.
Yeah,
so
sure.
good.
So yeah, it was a good segment. It forwarded. It set up a U.S. title match. So it'll be good.
And I was telling Sean we're watching this, and I'm like, please don't make this family feud just be about the U.S. title. Like,
yeah,
if you're having a feud with your cousin, like it's got to be more than about a title. It's got to be something deeper than that. And we didn't get that deeper than that. We just got the title. I like this segment.
They're setting up stuff though, because like Jimmy came out. I mean, it was
yeah.
There's stuff being
and then we had the
up.
whole like fake reunion.
Yeah.
And like you and I were sitting there talking, and they backed away, and I'm like, Sean, he's gonna go back. They're gonna do it before they go to break. And like they teased us. It was really good. Like they almost got it, and then what happened? We went to black.
Yep.
Went to commercial. So hey, the WWE production, man, like the way you're leaving us with these cliffhangers, great job. And by the way, this segment of the show is sponsored by Tito's Vodka
and Smirnoff Ice, Red, White, and Berry. All right, so after that, we get Bronson Reed in a match against LA Knight. Look, this did what I wanted it to. Like, insert Kylo Ren saying more over and over again. Like, we got 3 tsunamis, 3 spears at the end of this. I don't even care about the match. I wanted destruction. Seth Rollins' faction needs to be about destruction, and we got destruction. So, I'm all for it. So.
Sean and I talk about one word, 4 letters. More.
All the time.
So
all the time.
So I know some people are going to complain about Smackdown, and you'll be like, all the outside interference, all the false finishes. Last night it worked. Totally worked.
It totally did. And it was good. It's something I've been waiting on for the faction for a while. So, like, I'm happy that we finally got it. All right.
What do you think they're going to name the faction, by the way?
I don't know, because I've been listening for hints. So, like, anytime Heyman talks, anytime Seth talks, I try to pluck out words where they'll be like, this is, whatever, right? Like, all the great factions, there was always a nugget that led to the naming of them. So
it's coming. By the way, like Sean told me, there is a talk about that there's a name coming.
There is a name coming. There is a name coming, a new intro coming. There's a lot of new stuff coming on.
I love this faction.
Some artist that is not Def Rebel will be cutting the
you
intro.
told me that, yeah.
So, okay. We're about to get into cinema. And, as...
They even used the announcers even said the word on Raw, didn't they? No, it was a Bleacher Report.
Somebody did. It doesn't matter, because I'm
going
to light one up.
the word cinema, and we've been using the word cinema for how long now?
Because John Cena's title is
the
cinema title.
Right.
And it's been the cinema title. So.
And that's not a bad thing.
It is not. So we got a Ron Killings and John Cena match. It was better than their first match, that's for damn sure. We got a DQ. We got a belt shot.
Can I be honest,
everything
Sean?
else. But
I wanted more aggression from R-Truth.
Well, we know he came out pretty aggressive.
No, I mean, the double leg takedown to the punches and all that stuff.
A lot of his offense happened during the commercial break. When they were picture-in-picture on the commercial break, that's when it happened. And that's why it kind of sucked.
So here's my beef with SmackDown last night. My biggest beef. We saw, what was the match earlier that we saw, and we called out spots. No, it was this match. We saw 2 You Can't See Me's during the commercial break.
Yep.
When Cena did his You Can't See Me when
he
did his,
and
that's when it went right back. But we saw R-Truth do the You Can't See Me. Sorry, folks. Like, this is different.
So, look, I've long, they did it a month or 2 ago, and I've long held this belief. If I'm WWE, I make every main event commercial free. Just your main event. Like, you get in all your 6 million commercials. They've already proven on Saturday night's main event they can squeeze in a lot of commercials.
Yeah. For
Like-
example, we watched the Xfinity race today, right? They're at Pocono, 2.5-mile track. Takes just under a minute to complete a lap. They hit 25 laps to go, and what did they announce? Commercial free to the end.
Yep.
Regardless of caution or not.
Yep. And they did. They stuck to
So
it.
NASCAR is giving the fans what they want, commercial free. Why can't WWE,
They should be.
just for the main event? We talked about this last night at length. Why can't we get a main event that's commercial free? Let it ride through. Let us see everything about the main event. Come on, WWE. You're on freaking Netflix.
Yeah.
On Monday nights. Like, that's a no-brainer. USA and SmackDown, I would rather have more commercial breaks in the first hour and a half with the promise of a commercial-free.
SmackDown especially right now because, like I said,
especially with them going to 2 hours, which thank God they are.
I'm changing the meme. It's going to be cinema. Yeah, when we're talking about the cinema title and anything dealing with that title on SmackDown right now, like, you really need to go commercial free. You lost a lot of context. We know why. We're about to get into it, which is why I lit up, because oh Nelly, did we have an effing promo from hell. So,
By the way, I did like the finish of the R-Truth Cena match.
no, it made sense.
Because,
It
like,
made
Cena's
sense.
going to eat a DQ. He don't care.
Yeah,
He don't care
He
at
doesn't
all.
care. He was going to walk out anyways. Like,
Quick, can we talk about Bronson Reed, the match he had with Sami Zayn?
he had it with LA Knight.
Thank you. Again, this portion sponsored by Tito's Vodka.
This is why you don't drink a podcast. But we knew this was going to be fun, so we just wanted to have fun with it.
So, that match was like a lot of fun, too.
It was good.
It was-
It was a really good match. There was a lot in there. There was a lot that made Bronson Reed look like strong as shit.
Yeah.
Um,
And then what happened after the match ended?
more.
And, like, we're sitting there like, I want 3. Sean's like, I want 5. So, like,
I
we
was
had
like, I'll
3,
settle for
and I
4.
won. But still, like,
I was like, I'll settle for 4.
but, like, we got 3, and we're like, that's more than 2, folks. Because usually you hit 1, and then you hit 1 to, like, put an exclamation point on it. Well, he double exclamation pointed it last night against LA Knight.
He
So,
definitely did.
super, super effective.
So here's some inside baseball for y'all, right? These conversations that you're seeing are probably the most pure conversations that we've had, mostly because we've been face-to-face and we've actually been able to talk in person. These conversations go on via text, phone, and anything else, pre-podcast, post-podcast. Like, we will go through this stuff ad nauseum.
Sean,
So, like,
we're fucking nerds, aren't we?
we are nerds.
Okay.
I already demonstrated that. That's where the Lord of the Rings thing came in.
Yeah, that's definitely
Yeah.
was a
I'm a-
strong starting point.
Next week we'll talk about the Chronicles of Narnia. But yeah. So, all right. So,
Does that mean I have to read about C.S. Lewis and Christian apologetics? Okay, sure.
all right. So,
No problem with that.
here we go. John Cena basically does the counter to the pipe bomb promo. And I am admittedly somebody that has missed the entire CM Punk run. I admit it. I say it all the time on this podcast. I did not see CM Punk's run. I missed it. I was busy doing other military type things. So, I did not witness or experience the original pipe bomb. I've seen it. I appreciate it. Another mosquito. And I can honestly say I did not realize until I went on social media how intricate they went with this. So let's talk about a couple of things before we get into the substance. One, when the original pipe bomb happened, it was a tables match with John Cena and R-Truth. And Cena got put through a table. And then the pipe bomb happened.
14 years ago.
So to flip the script on its head, we got a match where CM Punk ends up through a table while John Cena cuts John Cena's pipe bomb. And it is, without a doubt, without a question, without any secondary thought, the best promo John Cena has cut as a heel in a long time. And let me tell you, he leaned the hell into it. When he went early on and he's tapping the mic and he's like, Yep. Nobody knows what he's going to say, but they ain't cutting me off, so here we go. So it was brilliant. There was a lot of references back to the original pipe bomb. There's a lot of stuff. Yeah, deep cuts, man. Like, he was cutting on freaking CM Punk, like Mr. TKO, and how...
Oh, breaking the fourth
not
wall. Oh, my God.
And obviously...
Castiglione.
Yeah, Nick
And
Nemeth, and like, oh my God, like he's like throwing out other
John
wrestlers.
Cena. I always admire mic guys. So when I talk about mic guys, I think about guys like Dusty, right? No one could talk on the mic like Dusty. You think of Flair, like just lived the gimmick, great promos. Hogan was a great promo.
Yeah,
So many great promos, and like I don't think we appreciate John Cena for the promo that he does. Like, he has been lights out on this final run. And especially as a heel, like, what did we talk about last night with his promo? Because he's got the promo and he was spitting truth, right? And the fans started cheering. Like, the fans was it Grand Rapids last night?
it was Grand Rapids, Michigan.
And they were like, shit, like, John Cena's right.
Yep.
Like, and they got behind it.
Yep. And
they got behind
like
it.
I said,
like, they forgot about CM Punk laying there in the tables, and it was all about John Cena. Like, CM Punk was an afterthought. And this is a guy that they chant his name, they sing his song, but for those, 10 minutes, believe me, folks, I watched this again this morning. And, watching it again for the second time, you just, see so much more. So watch it again, watch it again, watch it again. Yep. It's so good. So, just Cena elevated that whole segment so well. I mean, what do you think about that, Sean?
I agree. Stop raising your damn hand. You keep on stealing the camera. You're so popular
I'm a glory hog.
Yep, camera hog. All right, so, yeah, there was a lot of greatness in there. I think, to me, one of the deepest cuts was, he's like, you're not the voice of the voiceless anymore. You're a millionaire.
Yeah.
I was like, he's like you're a capitalist.
You're part of the
he's like, you're not punk, you're a capitalist. Yeah, I was like, that whole line, I was like,
you're not fighting the establishment, you are the establishment.
And that goes back to, a lot of the John Cena stuff, right? Everybody flipped script. Cena's a heel, Punk's a face, everything flipped script. And he just called out everything. And it was brilliant. And, I saw some ho-humming from the IWC, and I was just like, you don't appreciate it for what it is. I appreciated it, because...
Can we talk about the match, though, between R-Truth and Cena?
We can.
While better than their Saturday night's main event, I wanted more from Ron Killings. I thought that they held him back. I don't know if it's WWE or the character or the conflict of the character, but, when he beat up the guy from Pretty Deadly, that's what I wanted to see in the main event, and I didn't get it, Sean.
I wanted him. I told you when Cena was walking out after the promo, I wanted Killings to come down the ramp and spear him or something.
Yeah, it wasn't there. I'm like, are they confused? Is WWE confused on how to book this guy? Because, I mean, if I'm booking this guy, he's coming running down that ring. He's double leg tackling Cena, and he's whooping ass. And the way, he stood around there, and he did his what's up thing, which we talked about the conflict of the Ron Killings, R-Truth character. But, still, if this is what Ron Killings is going to be, especially, an hour and a half after he beat the living shit out of a jobber.
Yeah.
I mean, not even a jobber. Like one of the tag team guys, beat the crap out of him. And then, he shows up for the main event. I want to see that same intensity, and I didn't get that in the main event. It was a standard wrestling match.
Let's pump the brakes real quick.
All right.
Let's pump the brakes because there's a couple of things at work here. One, the Ron Killings phenomenon is not just about Ron Killings and John Cena. That's one. Two is the story last night was definitely not about Ron Killings. It was about CM Punk. Yeah. So,
100%.
If Ron Killings, I realize in hindsight, and I was wrong last night. Yes, I admit it when I'm wrong. I was wrong last night. So Ron Killings shouldn't have came out last night, and here's why. it's not about him right now. We're setting up a match that takes place next week. SmackDown is in Riyadh.
Yeah.
You know, King of the Ring is in Riyadh next week.
Yeah.
We're setting up that. Like, all that does
Our
is
truth
distract.
is a part of the story, but, like, we're really...
He's on the peripheral. He's
Yep.
not the main
Yep.
event. And you're not going to take that. All right, another TV reference. Anybody watch American Dad? Here you go. So, in American Dad, there's a golden turd with jewels. Okay? So, what... Hello, camera.
You got to make us real cozy now.
No kidding. Yeah, AI cameras are great. So what happened last night was they damn it, I don't know what to tell you.
I ain't loving the camera. Go that way. Go that way. Go that way a little bit more.
In case y'all don't know, I got a new camera and it does gestures and it moves the camera around. Anyway,
I regardless how this comes out, just the fact that we're like hanging out and drinking some suds and like just hanging out as bros just makes this worthwhile. So
it totally is.
Like we've been talking about this since we started the podcast because he knew I was coming up. So this is a cool moment for us. So
it is a huge moment for us. This is the first time we've seen each other in about a year, maybe
about
a year.
Yeah. So Sean retired
2020,
and I didn't see him until last July.
Yep.
2024, so 4 years. But like we call each other all the time. Like, you know, we send texts and all that stuff. So, hey, real quick, we'll get off the wrestling stuff. But hey, our fellow vets out there, make sure like you have somebody you get in touch with.
Buddy checks.
Yeah, buddy checks. How you doing? So it's always good to have that constant connection with somebody that you serve with, just to kind of keep you on level.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
Yep. So, but that's our little blurb. We'll get back to wrestling.
Yep, we're gonna get back to wrestling. So last night was about Punk Cena. Any injection of Ron Killings after the fact would have taken away from that. So that's the big thing. And like right now, it's about Punk Cena.
Well, at one point you were sitting there like, when
John Cena hands you the golden turd of all, like the trophy of trophies of promos, you don't undermine that with a run out by R-Truth.
But at first you were wondering like, where's R-Truth? Why isn't he there?
Yeah.
But then once the promo
hindsight
came,
being what it is.
Yep.
Hindsight being what it was, I was like, no.
Cena needed his time to spout his truth.
So,
and boy, what truth it was!
It was awesome. Like he didn't lie. Like that's the beauty of it, and I like the relaxed nature of it. I like the breaking of the fourth wall. There was just so much goodness in that.
Well, I like the fact is that, like, Cena points out the fact that, hey, Punk, you're not clean in this. You're dirty.
No. Yeah.
You're like, you know, you're not the best guy. Like, you're not the nicest guy. You're not the
when he pointed out the wishy-washy morals.
Yeah.
You know, because obviously there's a thing with Saudi and Punk and yada yada, but like the wishy-washy morals, and it was just like, he ain't lying, and I had no beefs with it. So, long story short, if you haven't seen the promo, what are you doing? First off, get out there, watch the promo. It'll be great. But
here's the key thing about stories, Sean. It's not just the story itself, but it's the layers.
Yes.
Like you just mentioned the layers about like everything that was involved. So it's layers. It's not just like the story itself. It's like, what are the sub-stories that lie underneath the stories? And that's what we like to talk about. So.
No, this one of all his rivalries since becoming heel has been the best one. And it's been the most impactful. Orton was tight. Orton was good. But this one is head and shoulders. And this is part of the reason why I kind of would rather see Orton instead of Cody win King of the Ring, because I'm like, Orton is just going to do stuff. And it's going to be great. And I want Orton to get 15. I want that tension there. I want him to get 15. If I'm going to put somebody over Cena right now, I put Orton over.
Yeah.
He's right on his heels, man.
I think Orton needs 15. I think it's important. But
you touched on something too. So the whole never seen 17, it is a good intro, man. Like the belt's tight. Like they're leaning into it. I love it.
And the thing is too with that whole battle, the cinema title, Cody can sit like he doesn't have to be ready right yet. I think Orton's the guy because this 15 versus 17 is much more intriguing than like Cody being like, oh, the one guy that like finished the story, like defended the belt for a year. I think there's more money out of the Orton 15 versus the Cena 17.
Well,
because if Orton beats Cena, that puts 17 to 16. He's that much closer.
So
He's
the Orton thing. Here's the beauty of the Orton thing, and people need to think about long-term booking here. There is definitely history with Orton and Rhodes. Definite history. So if you strap Orton at SummerSlam, you just, who's Cody chasing? He's chasing Randy. Now we get all that history. Now it all starts coming up. John
and
Cena
what a
goes
main
off.
event you get for WrestleMania 42, Cody Cena and Randy Orton.
Well, you don't get Cena. Cena's going to peel off.
I'm not saying Cena. I'm saying Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton.
Yeah, you get Cody Rhodes and Randy, and then
I mean that's your marquee matchup, right?
It is. It is. And then Lord only knows when Mr. Part-Time Roman Reigns shows up, but
Well, now we move to Smirnoff.
yes, we do. And let me tell y'all, folks, like, I really think if Roman comes back, his whole life is consumed by Seth Rollins. And I think Seth Rollins will cash in, get the belt, and yeah, big time, yeah. Because I think that's when you see Roman come back, and now you got Roman nipping at the heels of Seth Rollins, and there's a whole lot of story there. So,
Do you think they have Roman come back before Seth wins the world title or after?
after.
Yeah.
After, for sure. Right. Seth has to be strapped.
Yeah, and
So-
and not only strapped but spotlighted. That's why, like, if you bring Roman back before it, it pulls the spotlight away. So you got to let Seth have his moment, and then you have Roman come in.
I think you definitely strap Seth, and then Seth has to contend with Roman chasing. So I think if you see a Roman Reigns return, he's going to Netflix, and I think that he's chasing Seth because his story is there. The cinema title, same players: Randy, Cena, Orton, or Randy, Cena, Cody Rhodes, like all those guys kind of climbing on top of each other, which leads to a weird dynamic for a couple of guys if Roman comes back and starts chasing, which is, what the hell do you do with Gunther? What the hell do you do with Jay? Jay can recover, but you made him world championship contender. And honestly, what was funny was when they had all four of them in the ring, there was only one guy without a title, and it wasn't Jay. It was Sammy. There's only one guy in that group. And I hope I see Karrion Kross on his shoulder on Monday, like something fierce. So,
Well, like we talked about last week with Karrion Kross, I think the fans have spoken. WWE has listened, and they're going to produce a match between Sammy and Karrion at some point.
well, I think Karrion is just going to continually be the little devil on people's shoulders for now. And like Sammy kind of called him on it, and I get it, but
yeah, but Sammy's in that like resisting stage. Like,
he's been resisting his whole fucking career.
right, but at some point he's got to give in one way or the other.
Sami Zayn is not a world championship contender. I'll say it.
No, I'll be honest about it.
He's not.
I mean,
He's a. How do I put this? He's towards the top of the card, but he ain't on top of the card.
no.
And I'm not crapping on him. I love his work. It's just, no. There's other more compelling people.
No, I think there'll be world champion. There's the good plus like something else. So guys like Cody and Gunther, Jay even has that something else.
Well, Jay does have that something else. And here's what Sammy's missing. So what Jay has that Sammy doesn't is Jay had a huge storyline leading up to his winning that title. Because what has Sammy really had to overcome? Like, his on-again, off-again friendship with Kevin Owens. Like, this match or the other. But at the end of the day, look at Jey Uso's path, right? Jay was part of the bloodline. Had to turn on Roman Reigns. Broke off. Went to Cody brings him to SmackDown. Or to Raw. He goes to Raw. He starts working his way up. Wins the IC. Loses the IC. Works his way back up. Wins the he won Rumble. He won the Rumble.
Yep.
He went after Gunther. He wins and gets his WrestleMania moment. Shortest title reign in history, for whatever reason. They like to give him short reigns. And then, but his whole story, like, arc was the ultimate overcoming. Like, he came from, like, being subservient to Roman Reigns to winning a championship. Where is that for Sammy?
Yeah.
I don't know. Where is it for Sammy? I don't see the story, and I think that's why I'm getting frustrated with Sami Zayn as a character. Is like, I need something, Jay, we just wanted to see overcome. We're like, oh my God, we watched him through this whole journey. Cody Rhodes, too. Like, finish the story. Kind of sick of that phrase, by the way.
But for me, like, Sami Zayn, he's a great wrestler, but to me, he's not that world championship level.
No.
So,
you strap an IC on him, I'm good. U.S. title, I'm good.
Yeah.
I just don't want him in the world championship picture.
No. And I understand, and I love what the WWE is doing with the championships, with elevating them and making them part of the storyline. I just don't see Sammy as that guy going up that high.
Who's the current IC title holder? I know, just like grinding my gears to a halt for a moment. I got to think about this one real quick. Who's the men's IC holder?
Dominic, yeah.
Dominic Mysterio. We didn't see him this week, or in recent. So,
but that's okay because it's building his character. It's not devaluating the title.
No, and it's fine. And I could see Sammy dethroning Dom, and I'd be fine with it. That's my point. Like, there's certain levels of talent. Seth Rollins is a world championship contender. Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes. Those are all guys that should be in the conversation. John Cena, all those guys. And I sound like a hypocrite because when I talk about the females...
I think Jay's going to take the IC title.
And that might be the case. AJ Styles is another one. He's a former world champion, but I don't put AJ up there now.
I think AJ is going to have like a decent run with the IC title. And, that's going to be kind of towards the end of his career, so it's going to be a nice send-off they're going to give him.
So, yeah. So there you go. People got to be slotted properly, and then Sami Zayn just kind of boo-hooing. I've never won a world title. Like, don't know what to tell you, guy. That IC looks shiny. Go for it.
No, and the fact that Sammy, again, put it on like, well, I was here for your championship, so I could celebrate with you. I could do this. I could do
Glommer.
that.
Glommer.
Yeah.
Glomming on. That's
all
it is.
I'm telling you, that's a catalyst for the heel turn.
Oh, God.
Sammy's going to turn
What
heel.
heel turn?
He's not going to be that
Is there a
dastardly
heel he can glom onto?
He's just going to be that guy that's just like, oh, shut up.
Oh, man. I want to say it was Wade Barrett that first brought this up, and I'm not going to lie, like, apologies to Wade Barrett, because you were right, I was wrong. Because, like, he is, man. He's like a freaking main event leech. He really is. Like, I don't know how else to put it.
Dude, you got an iron bladder, because I have to go again.
Hey, boy. That's awesome.
I'll be quick. Talk about something.
Something. All right. So, obviously, I've been abandoned again. It's okay, though, because I know I've been ranting about Sami Zayn, and I appreciate his talent, and I love him in the ring. I really do. I'm one of those people that thought in Montreal he should have went over. He didn't. And, but I think that was more about needing to get the strap off of Roman Reigns. I don't know how long you've been listening to the podcast. I'll tell you my theory. One of the biggest problems we had was when Reigns beat Lesnar and got both titles. And they're walking around with 2 belts. And I'm like, you have to get one of those belts off. Well, they decided not to. They made a new championship. Fine, whatever. Really, what should have happened was it took Roman multiple matches to win it. You could have still had Roman lose one of those belts and have him slip on a banana peel. He could have got it. And then we could have moved on with life. But God mode, tribal chief, whatever have you, we were just so hung up on it that's what we went with. So it is what it is. I hope everybody is truly enjoying this podcast. This was kind of what we expected. We wanted it to be a little uncut and edgy. I know people are probably watching this like, what the hell? Their lighting sucks. We're going to be back in our regular routines here shortly. Matt's traveling back to Florida soon. I'm finally done traveling for work. It's going to be great. We had to do this in the evening because, well, it's been a little toasty, and my hardware doesn't like toasty. So Matt is making his way back. So Matt, let's roll it up. Tell the people where they can find us, and yeah, wrap it up. Where can they find us?
Find us on Facebook and YouTube and Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
Yep.
I think that's it. And Instagram.
Yeah. All right. So
anything else you want to talk about?
Braun Breaker barks a lot.
I like that.
I do too.
Like we commented on it last night.
Yeah, we did.
He doesn't like speak words. He just barks. So it reminded me. All right, old school fans.
Who was it? It was when what's his name in the back came up, and then he told Paul Heyman about the match, and he's just barking at him. I'm like, that's hilarious.
Kind of reminds me of Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer for all you old wrestling fans. So yeah, for you new wrestling fans, Google and go on YouTube and look at Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer. You know what I'm talking about. Not the best human being, but what's a good performer for his time. But
yeah, so again, I believe this is our 10th episode. But if it is our 10th episode, we'll recap for you. So I grew up in the Attitude Era. I was Monday Night Wars all the way, recording WCW, watching Raw, going back to WCW to see the last match because they always had run over. I grew up in the Attitude Era. I watched all of it. But I also missed stuff like Punk's Final Thing. Matt, on the other hand, has been around a hot minute. Matt was watching wrestling back in the day. Don't get me wrong.
Late 70s.
Don't get me wrong. I have limited 80s knowledge. I distinctly remember Shawn Michaels putting Marty Jannetty through the glass and, Brutus the Barber's Beefcakes, barbershop. So there is some history there. I definitely remember things like
Do you want me to tell you how old I am?
No.
So, any of you who ever watched it, I watched the whole Larry Zbyszko, Bruno Sammartino turn. Saw it live, watched it on TV, and 9 years old. That was the 4th grade chat in school. Larry Zbyszko turned on Bruno Sammartino. Because as Northeast kids, Bruno Sammartino was the man. The guy you looked up to. It wasn't an Italian thing. Bruno was a hero. So, I remember as a kid watching it. I remember watching it that day because we had a huge snowstorm in the Northeast. We had 2 or 3 feet of snow, locked in. I remember being in the living room watching Larry whack Bruno with the chair and turn on him. Bruno being stretchered out. That was a huge news. Couldn't wait to get back to school. Of course, we had 3 snow days because we had 3 feet of snow. But that was the talk of the school. So, I've been around for a minute or two.
Yeah, that's my point, man.
So actually, my uncle owned a bar called Albano Saloon about Captain Lou Albano. And Captain Lou when he used to come to Providence, Captain Lou Albano used to go to the bar, hang out before the show.
That's crazy.
Yep.
So, there you go. You got the history. So, as I stated, Matt pointed out, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. We're all out there. Comment, see our shorts. Feel free to comment. Give us your ideas for storylines. And by all means. And then, great news. We'll be back to our normal format once Matt gets back to Florida and I get my studio put back up. And we'll go from mobile studio to permanent studio.
Please forgive us for we know not what we do. So it's been different. Been some alcohol involved. It's been fun.
We just wanted to have a fun one with y'all because I think we kind of discovered this week. So unfortunately, you guys lost out on gold, but we kind of found out that when him and I are just relaxing, bull driving, that's where we're at our best. So again, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. By all means, share us. Let other people know that we're out there. And as always, have a good one, and we'll see y'all later this week. Later.
Deuces.